Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Superpower User. My name is Stanley, and today we're going to be taking a quick look at the Sandisk Extreme Pro Portable SSD. So I was in the market for an external hard drive to store all my files on, and I wanted a portable hard drive for, on the go. So I was looking at the 2.5-inch mechanical external hard drives with rotating mechanical disks. Well, I looked at those, and then I ended up, deciding that I want an SSD external hard drive because of the durability and the fast read and write speeds, and that's kind of how I ended up going with this. So this Extreme Portable SSD from Sandisk is rated for 550 megabytes read, and the capacity on this is for 1 terabyte. Out of the box, you get an instruction manual and information about your warranty and everything. Of course, you have the SSD itself, and you can see it's really, really small. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then you got a cable, which is a USB-C 3.1 Gen 2 to USB-C, along with a USB-C to USB Type A adapter, so you can snap this on. And perhaps your computer doesn't have a USB-C, so you can plug this in and then plug the SSD into it. It's important to note that USB-C 3.1 Gen 2 is good for 10 gigabits per second. So 10 gigabits per second is way more than enough overhead for the 550 megabytes of read. Now, the actual dimensions of this SSD is right around 3¼ inches long, about 1/4 inch wide or deep, and then almost 2 inches wide. So as you can see here, it's really, really small in my hand. And the best way to describe it, is this feels like an iPod Shuffle. Or sorry, not Shuffle, iPod Nano. With how big phones these are these days, this is iPhone 10, 10 Max, sorry, 10s Max. You can see the size comparison is dramatic. Not only that, but this is also very, very light. So this SSD is under 2 ounces, I think. And it's rated for, it's got extreme rating for durability. So in terms of durability, this is good for a 2-meter drop. You could drop it on the floor and it'll be all right. So this SSD is rated for IP55, which basically means it's good for keeping all dusts out, no sand, nothing can get into this. And then the water resistant rating is splash proof. It's not truly water resistant or waterproof, but it's IP55 means it's basically splash proof. And spills, coffee spills or water spills, it's not going to be a problem. In terms of design here, you have a very, very soft touch rubber on the back, grippy rubber. So, on the table, it's not going to go anywhere. On the other side, you have plastic front with the words, Sandisk. And then up top, of course, you have a little keychain hole, or if you have a carabiner, you can stick it through that. So, overall, it's a very, very nice design. In fact, out of all of the SSDs or external little hard drives I've seen, I think I like this the best because it's very small, and it's smaller than your normal 2.5-inch SSDs or 2.5-inch hard drives. In fact, the reason why they're able to decrease the size on this so much is because essentially all you have inside is a USB-C interface, and then the M.2 SSD. Believe it or not, in here you basically have an M.2, one of those thin sticks of basically flash memory, and that's it. So there really, because it says SSD, there's really no reason why it has to be a 2.5 inch, and because it's M.2, again, you're able to decrease the size quite a bit. Out of the box, the SSD is formatted to exFAT, which means it's good for a Mac OS as well as Windows. And what I did was I plugged it in directly into my MacBook Pro 15-inch, USB to USB-C, or USB-C to USB-C, and ran the Blackmagic Design disk speed test along with AJA benchmark tool. And what you have is for the AJA benchmark tool, I've got a speed test of about 440 to 450 megabytes of write, and then followed by about 480 megabytes per second read. And this is respectable. This is expected. Of course, they're going to rate themselves at 500 megabytes per second, but this is pretty respectable, relative to the advertised speed. Also, on the next test, the disk speed test, right, by Blackmagic Design, it actually ran a little bit faster. So I've got almost 470 megabytes on write and about 515 or 518 megabytes per second read. A little bit faster, not sure why. It must be the type of data that it's sending over to the SSD, but overall, very satisfied with the performance of this little SSD. It's quite a bit faster than your 100 or 150 megabytes per second read and write on mechanical hard drives, and it really does live up to the expectation of nearly 500 or a little bit over 500 megabytes per second read and write. So one last thing is, during the benchmarking, I did notice that the SSD got a little bit warm to the touch. Not burning hot or anything, but you could feel that this little thing was working, reading and writing quite a bit, and it did get a little bit warm. So that's not a bad thing or anything, just something I noticed. Overall, this is a really, really nice little SSD. If you're looking for something that's portable, something that's rugged, durable, well, durability and reliability, only time will tell us to see if I'll have any issues. But given that this has a 3-year limited warranty on this thing, Sandisk seems to think that you're not going to have any problems with it for at least 3 years. And the way it's built, I do believe that mechanically it's pretty sound. So, and being an SSD, you're not going to have into issues with dropping this thing or throwing this thing around. So, like I said, overall, really like this little thing, a little SSD. If you're in the market for a portable SSD, highly recommend looking into this if you're looking for something small. And oh, one last thing. I also picked up a case for this on Amazon. This does not come with the package or the SSD itself. This was a case off of Amazon. I'll make sure to link it in the description below. But this, it's a great little case for holding this SSD. It's designed specifically for it, and I think it was only like $10 or $12, so totally worth it. It comes with a little flap inside, and on the other side you can hold your little cable for your USB-C to USB-C cable, and then even the little adapter fits right here very nicely, very compact. You can see here. Then you can zip it up. It's a semi-hard case, and you usually get a little lanyard. So if you're going to be picking up this, especially spending $160 or $170 on this SSD, what's another $10 for a little case, right? It's totally worth it. Anyway, if you have found this video useful, make sure to hit that like button and perhaps consider subscribing for future tech videos. Anyway, we'll see you in the next one.